Oh boy, we have a good movie to talk about today, folks. One that I've been very excited to review for such a long time. And also one that, quite honestly, is a miracle it even came out at all, knowing the turbulent period it had. But I'm getting ahead of myself. I guess we should reveal the film I'll be reviewing today. And that film is none other than The Day the Earth Blew Up, the brand new Looney Tunes film starring Porky Pig and Daffy Duck. And man, this film is just simply a dream come true for me. A fully animated Looney Tunes film that's not another live-action hybrid, one that's also fully original and not a package film consisting of old shorts, one made in good old-fashioned traditional animation, and better yet, one that's in theaters. This is just simply too good to be true. There might as well be fireworks going off in my head complete with a hallelujah chorus. Well, anyways, this is one film this year I was simply hyped to see, mainly because it feels nice to get to see a new Looney Tunes film, and especially one that's in theaters. Because like I said earlier, the fact that this film made it out at all is honestly a miracle, because this is one of those movies that nearly ended up on the back burner. And you better sit down, all you happy people, because this is one truly crazy story. The Looney Tunes may be among the most famous cartoon characters ever created, but you'd be surprised that they never really had a full original animated film come out starring them. From 1979 to 1988, Warner Brothers took several of the Looney Tunes shorts and edited them together into package films, with some just showing the shorts as is, while others were tied together using a framing story. We ended up getting 5 of them, and I'd say out of those 5, I'd recommend the first 3. Those are worth a watch, especially the Bugs Bunny Roadrunner movie, mainly because Chuck Jones presented the shorts just as is. After that, Warner Brothers has since used the Looney Tunes in live-action animated hybrids, which were, something, I guess is the word I can use. I mean, I do think Joe Dante's attempt with Looney Tunes back in action was decent. It certainly was held back by executive interference, but I think Dante did the best with what he had, and it also had some great animation provided by Eric Goldberg. And then, of course, there were the 2 Space Jam films, which are basically just feature-length commercials. And I do mean feature-length commercials.
Get your hands on, lace up your Nikes, grab your Wheaties and your Gatorade, and we'll pick up a Big Mac on the way to the ballpark.
Yeah. Subtle. Anyway, moving on. It just seemed like Warner Brothers had no idea what to do with their famed cartoon characters, and the idea of them making a full-length animated film with them at all just seemed like a myth. And that eventually brings us to 2019. 2 years before Space Jam: A New Legacy, well, made anything but a slam dunk. As Warner Brothers began setting up their new streaming service, Max, then titled HBO Max, they were also making a new set of Looney Tunes cartoons from showrunner Peter Braungart. These shorts were pretty good, and it gave WB some encouragement to keep going and make some more entertainment featuring the tunes. And so, we ended up getting a handful of announcements, including a feature film from Braungart entitled The Day the Earth Blew Up, an homage to classic sci-fi B-movies from the 50s like Invasion of the Body Snatchers, starring Porky and Daffy, which was scheduled for release both on Max as well as Cartoon Network. The film was announced in September of 2021, and it was all smooth sailing. Then everything changed when the Discovery Nation attacked. Okay, this part you probably all know, but in 2022, Warner Brothers was merged into Discovery, with the latter's management taking over the reins of the studio, led by their CEO, David Zaslav. And I'm pretty certain you know the story of this guy. If not, the long story short is that this CEO is mainly known nowadays for being Hollywood enemy number 1.
I have the honor to present David Zaslav for Boston University's honorary degree.
I don't think I've seen a man get this much hatred in the industry for such a long time, but it's pretty justified. This man is the epitome of a stupid Hollywood exec who favors money over art. Most notably, a series of tax write-offs and cancellations, with the handful of Looney Tunes project being among them. The most infamous being Coyote vs. Acme, which... Come on, release the damn thing already. It's done. Why are you sitting on your butt doing nothing with it? Besides, it's not like The Flash and Joker Fully Ado ranked in the big bucks. Ugh. Anyway, I digress. It seemed like The Day the Earth Blew Up could have easily been scrapped, much like the other Looney Tunes projects that got the axe after the stupidity of Zaslav crept in, but you'd be wrong. The film was instead put into turnaround, with the film waiting to get a new distributor, and at one point the film pulled a Mitchells vs. the Machines and nearly got a different and inferior title, but it was eventually reverted back to the original title. And then in 2023, the film was revealed instead to be getting a theatrical release, with the distributor, Ketchup Entertainment, picking it up the next year for a release in early 2025. And now, after all that turbulence and bumps in the road, the film has finally arrived on the big screen. And boy, was I excited to see this, especially since a film like this escaping the jaws of death is always going to make me happy. I've always had an interest in scrapped movies and art because you can really see the potential of what could have been, and as a firm believer in second chances, I love it when an animated film that has nearly gotten scrapped, or it was at one point canceled, gets dusted off and released, and there's been a handful of really good ones that nearly bit the dirt that came out this decade, some of them being among the best of the decade. This film just looked like a total blast, and one that was well worth the long wait after all it went through. And yeah, I'm gonna say it, this was well worth the wait. More than well worth the wait, because I loved this movie. The Day the Earth Blew Up is fantastic. It's exceptionally silly, over the top, and pure nuts, and that's exactly its charm. This is a film that had me smiling and laughing from beginning to end, made by a crew who loves the Looney Tunes, and a film that absolutely does Porky and Daffy justice. And it made me all the more happier that this film managed to escape from Warner Brothers' execs' grimy hands, because they truly did not deserve this film. It's truly great, and it's a film I just loved watching. After growing up happily in the same house, Porky Pig and Daffy Duck, both played by Eric Bauza, are desperate to get their new home in shape, hoping it can be approved by the city. However, due to an incident with their roof, their house is on the verge of condemnation, leaving them scared and realizing they have to get a job. After a series of unsuccessful stints, they then soon manage to get a job at the city's local bubblegum factory, where one of its scientists, Petunia Pig, played by Candy Milo, is hoping to create a new flavor to rival the boring flavors her peers are creating. Once there, though, Daffy soon notices something suspicious as one of its scientists puts a mysterious green goo into a new gum flavor about to be launched, and gets worried when he realizes that this gum is contaminated and turning people into zombies. Desperate to save the world, Porky, Daffy, and Petunia team up to save the people and destroy the gum before things get worse with a mysterious alien invader played by Peter McNichol. And that's all I'm going to say about the plot because, well, you're just going to have to see it for yourself. Alright, so when it comes to this film, I'm not going to sit here and try to analyze this film for deep, meaningful art, or look for anything groundbreaking, because that would be silly of me. I'm not going into a Looney Tunes film expecting to see something challenging, because it's a silly comedy about two pigs and a duck stopping an alien invasion whose plan involves bubblegum. If I'm going into a Looney Tunes film, I'm expecting to find good comedy, have it be really silly, and also just have it be fun. And I can say this film does exactly that. The story really is over the top, and one where the craziness is justified. This is the film where the crew members are truly having a fun time making it, and pushing to see how over the top they can take it with the audience, and it really works. The film's premise is genuinely nutty, but it's one that really fits the spirit of the Looney Tunes, and it's one that showcases that they absolutely can work on their own as the main focus of the film. One of the biggest problems with the two Space Jam films and Back in Action is that there are human characters that upstage the tunes in their own film, and you just don't care about them. I like Brendan Fraser, but if I'm going into a Looney Tunes film, I'm gonna like and care about Bugs and Daffy more than him. I even heard some suggestions that maybe these characters just don't work as the complete focus for a feature film, and this film completely proves that point wrong. They work, and they work brilliantly because it has the perfect story for its characters to bounce off of. Once the main plot of the Gum invasion starts, it's a non-stop hilarious ride, and the filmmakers make sure to keep everyone on board and laughing all the way through. There's a great montage in the film that's set to It's the End of the World as We Know It by REM, which might seem really cliche for an alien invasion film. It's not even the first animated film of this nature to do it, but obviously this is much better than Chicken Little, because it's clear the filmmakers are just having straight up fun, and it's hard for the audience not to be along for the ride. Not to mention, it keeps building with absurd twists and turns that stick the landing and keeps you guessing on what's going to happen. I'm not going to spoil certain moments, but the film does have some unpredictability towards it that kept me engaged. I should also say the comedy is top-notch and has so many great moments of slapstick, fourth wall breaks, and line deliveries. Everything you can imagine, and it lands. One gag that constantly got me was that when all the people were possessed under the gum, all they could utter was the word chew. That got me good. There's too many great jokes to keep track of, and if I listed every hilarious joke I laughed at, we'd be here all day. And this is the perfect segue into talking about the animation, because this is the other real highlight of the film. Man, to see an American hand-drawn animated film on the big screen truly was a treat, and this film looks absolutely gorgeous. The film is mainly aiming to capture the look of the classic early 40s Looney Tunes, mainly Tex Avery and Bob Clampett stuff, and I can say they really captured that vibe to a T. It feels like a lovely tribute with some beautifully painted backgrounds, amazing over-the-top character animation, and even some great character designs with some of the gum creature mutations being really well designed. And plus, this is a film where all the over-the-top zaniness that was boarded to be animated was translated perfectly on the big screen. Nothing about this felt held back or limited. It feels like everyone was working without restraint, and boy does it show. Which, by the way, we should talk about the fact that this got a big screen release at all, because seeing this in a movie theater on a big screen was a special treat. I've genuinely grown to loathe streaming lately. I appreciate the convenience, but the experience of watching a film at home doesn't hit as hard. Not to mention, the way it's damaged the film industry and how horrible the algorithm is just proved to me that films are made for one place and one place only: the theater. I think I began to see that more last year when Pixar released all the 3 movies dumped on Disney Plus into theaters. And watching these films on the biggest screen possible with a popcorn and soda with the best sound system in the world, it just took my breath away. The experience for me captivates me so much more than it does at home, and the fact that a film that was intending for streaming like this managed to even get a better release in theaters made me so happy. This film's animation truly comes alive on the big screen, and I'm grateful it was able to get on there in the first place. And I guess we should get to the characters, which, come on, it's the Looney Tunes. Do I need to say they're fun? Okay, I guess we can talk about them. First off, Porky and Daffy really work well together as the oddball couple, with Porky being the straight man and Daffy being, well, a Daffy character. And I like the film gives them a dynamic of how their energy comes to a head during the whole Gum invasion, with Porky worried that Daffy's screwball energy could mess things up, while Daffy is frustrated that Porky's slow, methodical thought process could also be damaging. They are also both perfectly played by Eric Bauza. He does these characters justice, and I'm sure Mel Blanc would have been proud. And it's especially even more interesting when you throw Petunia into the mix. Petunia is a scientist at the gum factory, and she also brings some lightness into the situation as she develops a romance with Porky, and wants to prove her worthiness by showing her strengths at creating wacky gum flavors and using her smarts to take down the invasion. And with every invasion, you need an invader. I'm not going to say too much about this character for the sake that if I do, there will be spoilers, but he is pretty damn funny and just plain fun to watch. Once the film reveals why he's doing this, it just makes the film even funnier. I think the film's only slight downside is that the editing is a little rusty at times. There's some weird cuts and transitions that could have been a bit smoother, but when your film is as funny and hilarious as it is, it's easy to forgive it. So, it's why I can't be mad at The Day the Earth Blew Up, because this is just a fantastic film. With a story that's really silly, insane, and pure hilarious, animation that is beautifully drawn, over the top, and fun, as well as characters capturing the original spirit of the shorts while being tons of fun to watch, this is a film that really shows what the Looney Tunes can do in their own film. This is easily one of the best animated films of the year so far, and it's one that I highly, highly recommend seeing in a theater. It's a total blast, and one that just has all the manic energy I could ever expect. So, I think I'll be giving The Day the Earth Blew Up, a Looney Tunes movie, a 9. I could not be happier this film made it out for the world to see. Considering how many bumpy films the Looney Tunes have had over the years, it's genuinely amazing this film was able to show what they can do when given the proper chance, and I'm so happy it managed to get out and away from Warner Bros. Discovery's hands, because they did not deserve this film one bit. With its brilliant animation, hilarious comedy, and plenty of silliness to spare, this is a film that truly earns the definition of being called Looney.
Get it off me! Get it off me! Get it off me! Get it off me! Oh, is it over?